my name is Melissa Hornsbeck and I'm a registered dietitian. Now, a registered dietitian is a scientist who uses food and food science to try and help people stay healthy. Dietitians can work in a lot of different places, so we can work here where I work, which is a long-term care facility, which is also known as a nursing home, or we can work in hospitals. We can work at gyms. We can work at restaurants. We can work for food manufacturers like Stouffer's or Sara Lee or McDonald's. We can work for school systems. So every school system or school district will have a registered dietitian who helps with the menu and all of your school lunches. We can work at grocery stores and give tours. We can work at the health department and work for people who are maybe on food assistance like SNAP or WIC and help people that way. So a dietitian can have a lot of different jobs and can do a lot of different things, all of which are around food and how food can help people. So here at my job, I work at a long-term care facility, which is also a skilled nursing facility, which is two different things. So one of them is long-term care, which is people who live here. This is their home. They had to move here either by themselves or with their spouse because they couldn't take care of themselves anymore. They needed help with certain things. Either they needed help cooking food, because they couldn't do that. They needed help maybe, taking a shower or getting dressed. They needed help. They needed to live someplace where people could help take care of them. So they live here and we take care of them. I help take care of them. The nursing staff helps take care of them. The rehab specialists, physical therapists, all of us help to take care of those residents. And then we have our skilled nursing residents. And those are residents who don't live here long term. They may be here for a short time or a little bit longer, but they're typically a resident who has been sick or has gotten hurt. Maybe they had their hip replaced or they broke their hip, or maybe they were really sick and they needed to have some medicine in an IV and they needed to stay in a hospital and they're just too weak to go home. They can't take care of themselves yet. They still need some help, but they don't need to be in a hospital anymore. So they come here and we take care of them. We've got our physical therapists and our occupational therapists and our speech therapists that work with them to get them stronger, that help them relearn how to do the things that they need to do to take care of themselves at home and make sure that they can eat and drink safely, that they don't choke on things. And I work with that too. And what I do is I make sure that the food that they get is going to be helpful to them, that it's going to, if they have a heart issue, that it's maybe not going to have too much sodium or too much fat in it. Or if they have diabetes, I'm going to make sure it doesn't have too many carbohydrates in it, or that those carbohydrates are balanced throughout the day. So there's a lot of things that go through what a dietitian in a long-term or skilled nursing facility can do. So here is a basic rundown of my day, is how we're going to do this. So I come into work and I've got over 140 residents that I follow every single day. And there's certain things that I look for. So when they're a new resident, I first make sure that the doctor has given us a diet order that's let us know, do they need to have a special diet or are they just going to be on a regular diet? And if they're just going to be on a regular diet, we need to make sure that they know that, so they know that they can order any of the food they want off of our menu. And if they're going to be on a special diet, we need to make sure that they know that, so that they know that the menu that they're going to get to order from is going to be a little bit different. And like I said, some of those diets are because they may have a heart issue or maybe they have diabetes, but some of those diets may be because they can't chew very well. Maybe they have dentures, so they can't chew food very well. So they need their food to be cut up into pieces, or they need extra gravy added on it so it's easier to chew. Or maybe they can't swallow very well. Maybe the muscles in their throat don't work really well, so the speech therapist would work with them on that. And we would make sure that the food that they get is easy to swallow. Maybe it's more wet, so maybe it has a gravy added to it or a sauce, or maybe they have a lot of soups and mashed potatoes and things like that. But I also make sure that they're getting a variety of foods, because nutrition comes from variety. We get all of our different vitamins and minerals from all different types of foods. You can't just eat one type of food, even if it's really healthy, like blueberries or kale, and be the healthy person. You need to eat a lot of different types of food. You need fruits and vegetables. You need grains and protein. You need dairy products or dairy replacement products so you can get calcium and vitamin D in your diet. So we need a lot of different foods to make up a complete meal or a complete daily intake. So I make sure that that is how that's working. So when they come in, we see what their diet order is, and I go and I talk to them. And I say, this is the diet order that you have. Does that seem right? And they say, yeah, I've got diabetes, so that seems right. And then I ask them the foods they like and the foods they don't like. I ask them if they've lost any weight recently, because sometimes if you lose weight without trying, that can mean that especially if you're an older adult, if you lose weight for no reason, that can mean there's something else going on. So I ask them if they've lost any weight without meaning to, because I want to make sure they're getting enough food. Because, they need to make sure they have enough energy to, if they're sick or if they've broken something or if they've had surgery, that they can get better. So then after they've been here, the nurses, every time they eat, will put in how much they've eaten. So I follow that and make sure that they're eating, at least half of the food that we offer them. They don't have to eat everything. They don't have to clean their plate. But I want to make sure that they're eating at least half to make sure they're getting enough energy and enough nutrition. And then I follow their weights. So they're weighed every week. Sometimes they're weighed every day. It kind of depends on what's wrong with them. And we want to make sure that their weight is not changing. Whether that's losing weight or gaining weight, we want them to remain consistent or steady. So, and if it changes, then I'll go talk to them and I'll go talk to the nurses and see what we can do to change that. Maybe they've stopped eating so much, so we need to see if we can offer them snacks that they might like better, or maybe give them a drink like a Boost or a shake or something like that, like a meal replacement, because maybe they're just not hungry, but they still need some energy, and we get our energy from our food. So that's one of the things that I do here. I also will go and talk to residents just about nutrition in general, answer their questions, make sure they're getting the right kinds of foods. And I'll work with, speech pathologists. I'll work with our occupational therapists and make sure that we're meeting all of the needs of our residents. So that's kind of a picture of what I do here at a long-term or skilled nursing facility. Now, dietitians can do a lot of different things in a lot of different places. If you're in school right now, your school has a dietitian. Now, your district may only have one dietitian, but if you want to have any questions about what that dietitian does, I bet if you went to your cafeteria and asked one of the cafeteria workers if you could, meet the dietitian. First of all, that would make that dietitian's day, and they would love to meet you and chat with you about what they do. Because when you go into a field like this, when you become a dietitian, you do it because you like it. You do it because you love it. You like talking about food. You like talking to people. So I'm sure that they would be happy to chat with you about anything that you wanted to know about what they do. So I hope you learned something today. And if you have any questions, find your local school dietitian and they'll be happy to answer them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. My name is Taylor Hornsbeck. My professions are being a chef as well as being a dietitian, but today I'm here to talk to you about being a chef. I've started cooking when I was 4 years old with my grandmothers and my father, and found the passion to continue that into my career. Started working in restaurants at 16 as a baker in my hometown. Then went through culinary school to add to my abilities. Also, I went along to become a dietitian as well. And as a chef, I've worked in as a short order cook, a baker, catering, fine dining, very high-end fine dining, as well as school systems. So what you do as a line cook is you're constantly prepping and preparing meals day in, day out. As a chef, you're managing people. You are writing menus, special menus, tracking your inventory, so you have to do quite a bit of math, as well as being your own advertising through social media, through any type of advertising in your city. As a chef, though, there are many avenues you can go down. You can become catering chef. You can teach classes. You can go into private, be a private chef. You can go into sports performance as a chef, though I would suggest having dietetics as a background, go into that. It's a higher selling point, so you'd work with athletes or famous people who are trying to change their diet to fit a specific role. There are chefs that just do fine dining and focus on very specific meals and cuisines. And there are 5 mother cuisines, and those concentrate through different parts of the world. So you have your European, your Asian, Africanese, Central American, and kind of the northern climate of Russia and northern China that don't fit between the Asian and the European roles. Also, that also fits in the Middle East. We have had I've had different experiences through the world of culinary, working in restaurants that have had great chefs like Thomas Keller, Bobby Flay. A lot of different people have gone through the kitchens that I've gone through, and today I'm working for a public school system doing special diets, working with menu writing, publishing the menus in our food calculator, because we basically run 80 different restaurants with a large school district, and assisting those managers to manage their own kitchens, as well as help budgeting that. Our food service budget is about $6.4 million. It's a lot of money to have to deal with, and when I feed 50,000 people and a day and do that for 170 days, $6.4 million doesn't go very far. So figuring out where we can get food that is healthful, that meets regulations for the USDA is where we get most of our funding from, as well as working with our other grant opportunities with TSET, which is Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust. We try to find as many avenues to get good food to our children. And we try to write menus that appeal to a lot of different people. Like I said, I feed 50,000 people a day. There's no way I can make everybody happy. I see kids all the way from a year old all the way up to 19. So those the palette between that is obviously completely different. So I have to write menus for different age groups, and making sure that it's capable of being consumed for the kids under 5, as well as making it appetizing for kids that are in high school and in middle school. Even in middle school, they don't like the same things that high schoolers do. So we have to make different menus and adjustments for every age group. And working as a chef, understanding what food is, what food does. I don't have a kitchen to test out recipes. I have to be able to do it all up here. And working as a chef in restaurants for many years has given me that ability to understand what a recipe does just by looking at it on pen and paper. But we also do like feedback. So we work with our student body to determine what their preferences are, what they would like to see, and if some of the recipes that we have developed, if they work or not. So that's why we always encourage our students to come and speak with us directly. You can always ask your cafeteria manager if you can work on the student committee for your food service. There's many different opportunities to help have your opinion voiced in what type of food you see in your cafeteria. If you have any questions, you feel free to send those along to me, and I'm more than happy to respond. Thank you.